Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet an inspiring young lady who started her fitness career at the age of 50. Her incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
So I've got a question for you. How old do you feel in your mind? I think most days when I wake up, I feel like I'm in my 20s and I'm about to be 60. Another person who feels the same way is my next guest, Sharon Simmons. She is a believer in fitness at any age, and it can start when you're 50. So Sharon, tell me your story. How did you decide to start competing when you were 50?
I didn't even know what competing or competitions were back then. And it was one day, and I'll never forget it, in a kickbox class, our instructor, she had a thing of pictures. Mm-hmm. And I looked at them, and she had on this beautiful swimsuit, and she was holding flowers. And I go, what did you do? What is this? She said, oh, I compete. And I said, what is that? And so then she proceeded to tell me about it. And so then I said, how did you place? She said, well, I took first.
Wow.
So I went through the pictures and I said, how did this one place? She said, second. And I went, and she said, you want to compete? I said, I do. What do I need to do?
Wow.
That's how it started.
So how long did it take you to go from somebody who didn't, work out every day necessarily to dialing it in for a contest?
When you do fitness competitions, there's so many facets of it. One, of course, is the physical part. Mm-hmm. You have to train with the weights and the cardio, but then there is a fitness routine. Mm. The majority of the girls are gifted because they've had gymnastics.
Yes.
I had zero.
No kidding.
So I was starting from scratch. I mean, literally, I couldn't even do a push-up, and I was told, you have to do a one-arm push-up.
Oh my goodness, that is, you are so inspiring. Okay, so we've got several books here. Why don't you kind of tell us, which book is this?
This one is my first book, and it is really an awesome book. It's kind of like a nutritional exercise handbook.
Yes.
And it has complete goal setting. Mm-hmm. So for a lifestyle book, this is perfect.
Sure.
This book came second. It was from everything that I had accomplished with this one, and then I auditioned for the America's Sweethearts, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, and I kept a blog, and it was all over radio stations and TV.
That was a news story, wasn't it?
So everybody kept asking, well, tell me about this, tell me about this. So I decided to put my blog in book form.
Okay, how old were you when you auditioned for the Cowboys?
Oh, for the Cowboys, 55.
55. Yeah. Wow, that must have been an international news story.
It did.
Wow, that's amazing. And then this book here.
And this one is the love of my pet. Those of you that have pets understand this. What are they thinking? This book is about what my little guy is thinking from his perspective.
Wow.
He is 15 this month.
No kidding.
He's still alive, yeah.
I love that. I love that. Fitness at any age. Okay, we've got a little B-roll of you in competition. Tell us about this routine.
It's my favorite routine. In fact, we call it Finally Boots. Michaela was the choreographer. That was my very first routine. And I remember at the very beginning of the routine where I would turn around with the hat dip. She was so excited. She said, you have your first element. I said, oh, I was so excited. I said, what is an element?
That's great. So now with that routine, did you win competitions? Tell me about your fitness career.
Now, when I first started, I felt in my heart and my enthusiasm, I took first, but I didn't. I came in last. I
first
started
one.
out, yes, I started out in a national competition. I don't recommend that.
Okay.
But it was Miss Fitness USA, and it was an incredible federation. And it was just so awesome. And then I went on to accomplish, I've got so many first place trophies. So,
Okay.
so you learn how to do things, the different federations, what are they looking for?
Yes.
You know, how do you have to present? What are they expecting to bring in the routine? And then a majority of them have a speaking role. So they also teach you how to speak in public.
Wow.
As well as an evening gown round, yeah.
So now, before you started to compete, were you kind of an introvert, and did this help you become an extrovert?
I'm not, everybody thinks I'm a real social person.
Yeah.
I'm really not. I'm not afraid to talk to people at all. But you give me a microphone and a stage, I come to life.
I love
because
that.
especially when I'm passionate about a topic.
Sure, sure. We've got several pictures, and I want you to kind of go through. What are we looking at here?
Now that is one of my very first competitions. That was also in Las Vegas, and I took the overall masters division. Wow. And that means that, okay, now that's my favorite swimsuit. That is my favorite swimsuit. That was Fitness America pageant. And so I did the fitness portion. I also did the bikini portion. And I was one of the oldest, if not the oldest competitor.
Wow.
And
this is
that's
the
Miss
evening
Fitness USA.
Wow.
Oh, I love that gown too.
And her eyes light up when she sees this. Tell us the takeaways from starting at 50. What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about competition and discipline, and what can others take away from your journey?
You never allow anybody else to set your limitations for you. Never allow that. Only I can set my limitations. And I never allowed the naysayers, and there will be naysayers for things that you decide to do. Don't listen to them. Because if you want to do something bad enough, you have pride, passion, and commitment.
Yes.
And you're willing to work at it. I think you can accomplish anything.
I love that.
I do. I believe it. And then put on blinders. Don't let anything else get in your way. You have a goal, just go do it.
Tell us your method right before a competition, because I know athletes will sometimes they'll put on headphones and they'll listen to their favorite music or something like that. What's your routine right before you went on stage?
With me, I have to kind of get to the side, and literally it's behind the curtains, and you kind of go through your routine in your head, you walk it, talk it. And I used to like to mentor the younger girls. I did that. There was a competition in Fort Worth, and we were behind the stage, and I was trying to teach her. They teach you how to pose. And so I became a master at what I did. And bless her heart, she wasn't there yet, so I was trying to help her. And she was so grateful, and I said, okay, now I'm going to go kick your butt on stage.
That is great. That is great. Okay, so I know there are people watching right now who are still in their head, and their negative self-talk is rampant. I mean, from time to time, we find ourselves saying negative things to ourselves, and if you do that long enough, you start to believe it. But the person watching this right now who says, but I could never do that, what do you say to that person?
How do you know? How do you know? And you also have to ask yourself, what is the one thing, maybe two, but the one thing you've always wanted to do and never had either the courage or the means to do it? And that's what I've done with each of my adventures. It's that next thing.
Yes.
I've always wanted to do it. Well, the cheerleader thing was a fear of mine. Started in the 8th grade at Lytton, well, actually it was Lytton Junior High. And I tried it for the cheerleaders. It was devastating. I'm not over it still. And so something like that can crush a young person.
Yes.
And it affected me, and I'm like, okay, I've always wanted to audition. So that picture is actually from a stage in Las Vegas during a fitness competition with a custom-made outfit. The crowd went ballistic.
Wow.
Over the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And so I'm shaking my pom-poms. I'm like, I know what I want to do. When I go back to Dallas, I'm going to audition.
And it helps mind, body, and spirit, doesn't it? It's not just the
It
physical.
does.
It's working on like your soul, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, now Sharon told me right before the show that she's taking a pause for a minute in terms of her competition. What do you feel like you're being called to do now? What is God telling you to do?
I know I'm not over. I'm not done yet. I know I'm not. I feel like we're all a package in the works. That there's something else planned for me. I don't know if it's professional. I've thought about a book. I don't know, I may hit the stage again. Don't know if it'll be competing or doing what you're doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm not done.
I love that. Okay, now I need you to do 30 one-arm push-ups. I'm just playing with you. All right. We're going to put up her website so people can get in touch with her. Fitness at any age, the great Sharon Simmons. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.